Yo, what is going on, guys? Average player Yugioh here with that rebrand and with a ban list prediction. We're coming back on it. As you can tell, there's cards on here that are the same as the last one, but some of them are different as the last one. And we've also added the new section here called Hopium. Cards that we would hope to get banned is basically what the Hopium is. So we're gonna start off here. The Hopium is gonna be Scythe. I hope Scythe gets banned. Ultimately, Scythe is no longer much of an issue in most decks because you can't just make the Dagda, or you can make the Dagda and you can set the Scythe, but it's gonna be harder to pop. Most decks can't afford to play Baron or something to pop it, or play the Sanctum to just summon it straight. So, or play Sanctum and have a way to get it accessible to your field. So Scythe would be the Hopium, but the card that's actually getting banned is Verte. You can hand trap your opponent to all high hell, and as long as they have two monsters on the field, they can make Verte Anaconda end on a Dragoon, DPE, or any one of the branded monsters. Before I can continue though, the reason why I'm going back on this is I have seen a lot of YouTube videos explaining cards and the reason why they should be getting unbanned and banned and stuff like that. It's a whole bunch of ban list videos. And then I looked back on it and I was like, some sets are releasing soon or are releasing about the time we're expecting the ban list. So I don't see them banning those cards or getting rid of them just yet. That's why Helk is not on this list, nor do I have Auroradon on this list. Because even though they are a big problem, Auroradon is a big enabler. I just can't find a reason to put Helk anywhere yet, except for banned, until after Ghost from the Past has died down. So I don't think they're going to touch any of that combo. Next, we're going on to Limited. Harp Horror. I think they should bring it back. Put it at 1. It's not going to do anything. Orcus are worse than Salamangreats now. Orcus, the only way they're going to get better is if Harp Horror comes back, even at 3, and then they'd have to get support that's just going to make them absolutely bonkers. It's the only way that the Orcus are going to be able to do something. They could become a valuable engine that can make, the Link Monster or the Galatea and have the set Crescendo, and it makes it valuable that way. But other than that, Harp Horror is fine. Crescendo itself isn't really big of a deal, just like Roar, even though it's an Omni Negate, but it banishes. Orcus themselves aren't really bad. The engine could be a problem, but it's something that they should bring off to see how it works. If it doesn't do anything, they can always just keep bringing it off. Alright, and the next card, the next section is going to be semi-limited. No, I'm going to have limited. Water Enchantress of the Temple, and so I got this from a couple videos, and I'm going to agree with what Cali Effect said. Water Enchantress of the Temple is a level 3, so it has synergy in a lot of level 3 decks like Phantom Knights or Speedroids or whatever plays level 3 decks. It also allows you to get the more recursion, so if you bring her down to 1, it limits the consistency, or it hits the consistency a lot of that engine. While not making it unplayable, it cripples it. So Water Enchantress doing that, you also, after she's done, you can't recycle it unless you use some outside source to get it back, and play it that way. I say that's going to 1, and I say Right Aramis here is going to 2, since we're going to be on the topic of this engine. Either one of these is going to be hit to either one of these spots, and it could be both, but it's one is going to go to limited, or one's going to go semi-limited. Those two can switch spots, and yeah, I think Water Enchantress would be the bigger hit. But right going down, I can see that happening too. So to continue on the conversation of cards going to 1, Heavy Metal Foes Electromite. So they just are reprinting that new Link monster, so I don't see Electromite coming back because they're gonna want to sell that new Link monster that came out for is coming out for Pendulums in the new set. I can't think of the name right now. Electromite, it should come back. Pendulums, we've already seen all their bits coming off the ban list, as you can tell by Astrograph Sorcerer being here, because that's gonna be going in the 2 section. That they're not doing anything. This card, it helps them, but I don't think it'll make them OP broke. So, also I just want to play DDDs at super strength, so that's about it. But yeah, so Electromite to 1. Expert. We're gonna continue the cards that are going to 2. Astrograph. It just went to 1, and I can see it going to 2. Like I said, Pendulum cards are slowly coming off the list. Pendulums really aren't doing anything, even though Pendulums are pretty insane. They do have to rely on Link monsters and those Link arrows to be able to do much of their shit. So Pendulums are slowly coming off. Astrograph's going to be 2 on this list, and then go to 3 on the next list. Next is Dynamite. And Dynamite going to 2 because True Draco is just, the power corrupt version of Monarchs. That's saying that they're better than Monarchs, but there's a deck out there now that's the power corrupt version of True Dracos, and that is Fluanderees. True Dracos are just, they're not that good anymore. Bringing Dynamite back wouldn't really hurt anything. I can see it being one of those things that's just going to slowly come off the ban list. Hopium is Gazelle slowly starts to come off. So I did this for Hopium ban. I'm not going to make each individual sections. It's going to make the list really small and really hard to see on recording. So I have Gazelle going to 2, and that's a Hopium. Salamangreats as well are slowly coming off the ban list because they are not the best deck in the format anymore, and they could use all the boost they can get. And speaking of, Circle's gonna go to 3. It's inevitable at this point. Gazelle is gonna go to 2, with Circle going to 3, and it's something that you could test the waters on, because Gazelle can chain off of itself. You summon Gazelle, like you normal summon Gazelle, send a card, special summon Gazelle from your hand, and there you go. You got 2 monsters like that, and you're sending Spinning to the graveyard. Now you got 3 monsters. It's almost a 1-card access code if you have 2, but you have to rely on them not getting chained, because the other effect has to resolve first for you to summon your other Gazelle, so it's kind of iffy. So if you had 2 Gazelle and say you had both in your hand, you normal summon one, send a monster to the graveyard, and then your other Gazelle would activate, and it wouldn't be in chain, because the other effect would resolve the monster being sent to the graveyard for Gazelle to special summon itself, and yada yada yada. Even though I Master Duel, and I think this is the correct ruling, in my opinion, the ruling that I said is how it should be, in my opinion, is that when that card is sent to the graveyard, that first effect wouldn't fully resolve. Even though the way Gazelle is worded, it just sends a card to the graveyard after it's summoned. So I think it would cause a new chain with itself. We're not going to get into ruling stuff now, but Gazelle can slowly start to come off. 3, though, would be a little bit of a stretch for this card. At least for now. Put it at 2, see where it goes. But, like I said, it's a Hopium pick. The next one is Scapegoat. Right to 3. Not doing anything. It's one of those cards that are on the limited section that are going, or on the semi-limited section that are slowly coming off the list. Not doing anything. Format is really slow. You gotta wait a turn. I can't really think of anything right now that can really take advantage of this card. Borlo Dragon, but that card's not really that good anymore. So Yeah. Hero lives as well. Going to 3, card's not going to do anything. An Ash stops it, and there goes half your life points. There's that. So, there's one card I'm going to leave towards the end, and it's not on here, and I think you guys know what I'm going to talk about. But this one is a little bit of a discussion. If Predaplant Verte Anaconda does end up getting banned, which I'm like 95% sure that it will, Fusion Destiny is currently at 2 copies per deck. I think they will keep it at 2 copies per deck if Verte gets banned, but there's a chance that they bring it to 1. So, this is the reason why. Verte gets banned, you have 2 copies of Fusion Destiny, you're still making your DPE, and it's still highly consistent. You got a 2 out of 40 chance, so 1 out of 20 chance of drawing your Fusion Destiny instead of I'm trying to do the math here. A 3 out of 40, which is almost a 1 in 10 chance. Or 1 in 11 chance of drawing your card. So, yeah, I think Fusion Destiny has a chance of going to 1. Basically makes DPE unplayable as an engine and keeps it in heroes. So as heroes get a hero lives, and even though they're getting crippled from Fusion Destiny, now elemental heroes can play their deck the way it's supposed to be played. But Fusion Destiny can also go to 3. That's the other thing. Fusion Destiny can easily end up at 3. And the reason being is if Verte Anaconda gets hit, Fusion Destiny can come to 3. It's harder to splash it as well because it no longer has Verte Anaconda to where you can just send it to the graveyard whenever. So if you don't draw it at that point, you go with the Hopium pick here. Your Scythe lock is so hard to hit if you don't get that card, and it makes it harder to draw. So if Verte Anaconda gets banned, this card could go to 3. It could go to 1. We'll see what they do with it. In my opinion, they should put it to 1 because it hits the engine to make it not an engine anymore. If you get what I'm saying. And then the card that I'm going to talk about is Max C. I've played Master Duel a lot, and even though we're in this TCG format and it's really, 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 really fast, Max C ain't going to do anything. We have Crossout Designator. We have Called by the Grave. We have Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. We have a whole bunch of cards that stop Max C. Drone Lockbird. Like, come on. If you think about it, most decks play those cards at maximum capacity. Most decks play 3 Ash, 1 Called by. There's 4 cards, which is a 1 in 10 chance of drawing that card. Are any one of those cards to stop that card? And if you're like me and playing Salamangrates, where you have 3 Ash, 1 Called by, and 1 Crossout, that's 5 cards that you have a chance of drawing to stop it. Now you'd have to play Max C in your deck, but it's 1 copy. So there's a fine line you can draw with Max C, but if they do bring Max C back, it'll be 2-1 copy or 3 copies, as I have said before. Max C is either going to 1 copy or it's going to 3 copies. 2 is pointless. 1 would be like, oh, you have Max C? Oh, you got Called by? There you go, I get to play. Or you hit it with Crossout Designator, there you go, I can't use mine no more if I have it. That's the 1. The 3 is you have it, I can cross out you, and then you can cross out me. Yada yada yada. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do with Max C if it's at 3. 2 is pointless. It's 1 or 3 with that card. Because if you think about it, Max C, just like Fusion Destiny, which I'm going to put back here. Max C If it's at 1, you have that 1 card, and it's stopped. It's done. And you have a 1 in 40 chance of drawing the card, which is really, really, really low chances of drawing the card. If you put it at 3, just like every other card in your deck, you have a higher chance of seeing the card in other ways to stop said card. And the argument to bring Maxi back, with Crossout Designator being a thing, is also the reason why Maxi couldn't go to 3. Because Crossout Designator can stop itself. So, yeah, that's one of the reasons why Maxi is kind of an iffy subject still. I think they should bring it back, but Maxi should go to 1. Here's my new ban list prediction. Opium is Scythe. That's if Verte doesn't get banned. Okay, so if Verte doesn't get banned, Scythe is going to be banned. And if Verte doesn't get banned, Fusion Destiny is going to 1 most definitely. But it's probably going to go to 1 anyway, so. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. See ya.